Hello, good evening, everyone. How was your day? And I would like to welcome you for today's training. And this training is the free training that is being organized by the Institute of Global Peace and Conflict Management to impact her followers with skills and other members of the community with the right skills to resolve conflict in their communities. This training is being provided for free from training to certification. You are not going to pay a dime for it. And the training is being organized by the Institute of Global Peace and Conflict Management. And, I have been your facilitator, Ambassador Tablet Joshua. I'm the registrar of the Institute of Global Peace and Conflict Management. And we have been providing this training for the past 1.5 years now. And we are still on it. I want to appreciate all of you that have been taking times to be part of the training. Your participation has been a source of encouragement. The reason we are still doing it, assuming you are not joining, you are not participating in our training, maybe I wouldn't be here doing it, but because you have been participating, joining, contributing, it has encouraged us enough to be a part of this peace building process. So I want to appreciate all of you for taking time to be part of today's training. And I would like to acknowledge as a tradition, those of you that are early based, those of you that joined quickly. And I'm seeing Mercy, Moses, thank you. Ambassador Vivian, Ambassador, thank you. Dr. Katanga from Namibia, thank you. And I can see Thought, what is that? It's the Thought what? Gak Thought. It's all right. Ambassador Vivian from Bayelsa, thank you. And then we have Musa Adraziz, Jeremiah Ishaya Gombe, joining all the way from Gombe State. And then Ambassador Hassan Omar Issa joining from Kano. Yes, he's a member of the Institute. Also, Onyebuchi Israel Friday joining from Abuja. And we have Sophie, Ambassador Sophie joining from Cameroon, thank you. And then we have Ambassador Samuel Itodo Ata joining from Kano. We have Anna Ishaya joining from Adamawa. We have David Cyrus joining from Niger State. And then we have, who is this? Mazaga from Ethiopia. All right, we have Zikaria from Bauchi. We have Nosa, Ambassador Nosa from Benin City, is a member of the Institute. And, so, I want to appreciate all of you for taking time to be part of today's training. And Ambassador Dr. Asobo Tamba from Cameroon, thank you. We appreciate you. Ashat Yakobo, thank you. Lokoja, thank you. Ambassador Femi Olumekun from River State, Port Harcourt. Ayana from Ethiopia, thank you. Jibri Muhammad from Kebbi State, thank you. And then we have Marcus from South Sudan, Juba, thank you for joining us. We have Ambassador Masiko from Botswana, a member of the Institute from Botswana. I appreciate all of you for taking time to be part of today's training. Yusuf Liwa, thank you from Yaoundé. Robert, thank you. All right, I want to appreciate all of you. I may not be able to acknowledge everybody, but Solomon, thank you. Emeta, Ambassador Emeta, Winifred, thank you for joining. Ambassador Simon Namso, Paul, thank you for joining. And we have Akasim Mohammed Eske from Nigeria, thank you for joining. Adeokum, thank you for joining. We appreciate all of you. Benjamin Bulus, thank you for always connecting. Thank you for joining us for today's training, Jeremiah Ngikwa from Kano, thank you. And then Mark Abbey from Yora, thank you for joining. We appreciate all of you for taking time to be part of today's training. And today we're going to continue with Module 2, Unit 2 of Peace and Conflict Management. All right. We're going to look at Unit 2 of Module 2 of Peace and Conflict Management. So if you join us, do way to share the link, the live with someone, put it on your timeline, share it to at least five Facebook groups that you belong to, and also to WhatsApp group that you may not be violating their rules to also join. Besides a free training, it's not a business you are promoting. You are just promoting a free training for them to acquire skills. So I think it shouldn't be a crime to share it in some WhatsApp group to help people to get to know about this, connect, and then get skills. So share it to various WhatsApp groups, to your Facebook groups that you belong. Let them connect and be part of the training. All right. At the end of the day, it's your participation and your examination that counts. All right. You see, you do not register for anything. All right. So, but at the end of the day, we know that those that participated effectively and also sit for exams and pass are those that are going to be certified. Do you understand? So that is what matters. So it's not the registration, right? So I want to appreciate all of you. And then, of course, for those of you that want to be members of the institute as a licensed member, do you understand? There's much you can do if you are a licensed member. Being a licensed member is more than just having a certificate. Do you understand? You have a certificate, but you're not a licensed member, then there's a limit to what you can do. But if you're a licensed member, there's no limit to what you can do when you become a licensed member of the institute. So I will encourage as many as people that are interested to become licensed members of the institute to apply for our upcoming inductions that will be taking place in April and May. We still have a long period to go, but you can start the process now while you look for the fee to become a member. All right, so today we are looking at Unit 2, which is immediate and trigger causes of conflict. Immediate and trigger what? Causes of conflict. There's what we call an immediate or a trigger causes of conflict. Do you understand? Now, yesterday we were looking at the structural and the root causes of conflict. So today we are looking at the immediate or the trigger causes of conflict. That's what we're looking at today. Like yesterday, we talked about structural causes of conflict, which are also considered as the root causes of conflict, right? Those things that have been neglected over time, and then they continue to degenerate to a point that they become a reason for conflict. Do you understand? So we were able to look at them yesterday. And so today we'll be looking at those triggers, all right? Because the root causes, the structural causes of conflict, they always provide a basis, all right, for conflict to occur. So once you see a trigger action, all right, then the conflict occurs. Do you understand? It's like you cock a gun and keep. Do you understand? If you cock a gun and keep, it will not fire. Do you understand? Until you pull the trigger and release it. Do you understand? Before it will fire. Do you understand? So the structural conflict or the root causes of conflict, or structural causes of conflict is like you cock the trigger, but until you pull it, before you trigger it, before it will fire. Do you understand? So this is what we're looking at today. So the immediate and the trigger causes of conflicts are like the trigger of the bullet that you pull and fire. Do you understand? So that's why it is. So this is what we're going to look at today. All right. So now let's look at the objectives, the learning objectives. We say that at the end of this training, you should be able to clearly distinguish between the structural causes of conflict and the immediate or the trigger causes of conflict. You should be able to identify common political, social, religious, and media-related triggers of conflict. You should be able to identify common political, social, religious, and media-related triggers of conflict. And finally, you should be able to recognize early warning indication that signal the likelihood of violent escalation. All right. So this is what you should be able to take note of. Rosemary, you're welcome from Lagos. So let's do some conceptual clarification. All right. Root causes versus immediate causes. All right. Root causes versus trigger causes. This is what we want to differentiate or clarify now. All right. When we say we're talking about root causes of conflict, what are we talking about? We defined it yesterday, but for the sake of today's training, we need to still touch it so that you have a better understanding of what we're trying to explain here. Root causes are deep-seated, long-term conditions that create an environment in which conflict can occur. Root causes are deep-seated, long-term conditions that create an environment in which conflict can occur. All right, they usually develop over time and are often linked to structural and systemic what problems. They usually develop over time and are often linked to what structural and systemic problems. All right, that's what root causes of conflict are. Do you understand? So it is deep-seated, long-term conditions that provide the basis for conflict to occur. These situations are not being dealt with. Do you understand? Are not being handled. They are not being, they are not being, addressed as they started. They just ignore them, or they consciously, make them available for the sake of it, or they just maybe don't recognize that it can cause conflict. Maybe out of ignorance, it's being neglected and ignored, or consciously is being ignored. Do you understand? Something like that. So, and then this provide the basis upon which conflict can thrive, conflict can occur. Do you understand? This is what we're talking about here. And they develop over time. They develop over time, and we keep looking the other way, while they keep providing a fertile ground for conflict to do what? To occur. So let's look at some of the examples of these root causes of conflict, like we defined. We considered them yesterday, but for the sake of today's training, we still need to refresh our mind so that we understand it better. Chronic poverty and unemployment. All right, chronic poverty and unemployment. 33 point something percent of Nigerian population is unemployed, and over 100 and something million people are into poverty. Do you understand? Out of the 200 and something million people in Nigeria, we have over 100 plus million people are, exposed to poverty. Do you understand? So chronic poverty and unemployment provide a fertile ground for conflict to occur. All right. If for any reason something happened in relations to poverty issues, frustration that has to do with poverty can trigger conflict. Do you understand? So, but chronic poverty and unemployment provide a fertile ground for conflict to do what? To occur. Then another example is political exclusion or marginalization. When people are excluded politically, when benefits are supposed to accrue to a particular region or a particular group of people, and they are not being accrued to, then it becomes a exclusion, and of course, it provides a basis for what conflict to occur. when people are being marginalized, when people are subchanged, do you understand? It provides a ground for conflict to occur, because anything, already agitation is on ground, so anything can trigger conflict. Do you understand? And then we have weak governance and corruption. Where there is weak governance, weak leadership, and corruption in place, what do you expect? It provides the basis, it provides a fertile environment, ground for conflicts to do what? To occur. The another example is historical grievances and injustice. When injustice is allowed to prevail over time, it becomes a fertile ground for conflicts to, grow and then, emerge, or to, to develop on. Do you understand? So historical grievances, if not tackled, if not resolved, can, if not reconciled, can provide a fertile ground for conflicts to occur. And then inequality among ethnic or religious groups can also provide what? A very, very, very good ground for conflict to occur. So the root causes themselves may not necessarily cause conflict per se, but they provide the basis for conflict to occur. And it take one action or one thing to trigger it, and then it catch fire. It's like you have the bush and you have the lighter. Do you understand? You have the bush and you have the lighter, but it will not provide fire until you light the bush. Do you understand? So that is what happened. So the lighter and the bush is there as a fertile ground, but until you light it, it will not work. Fire will not come. Do you understand? So that's what it is. So the root causes on their own may not necessarily cause conflict, but they provide a fertile ground for conflict to occur. Do you understand? So it takes the trigger or the immediate cause to produce conflict. It takes the trigger cause to produce conflict. Do you understand? I'm saying that the root causes on their own may not necessarily produce conflict. Do you understand? But they provide a basis, they provide a fertile ground for conflict to occur. It's like you pour fuel on something, but if you do not bring light on that fuel, it will not catch fire. Do you understand? So that is what I'm trying to talk about here now. So the fuel is there, it's a fertile ground for fire to take place. But until you bring heat or a fire actually on the area where fuel is being poured, before fire can catch out. Do you understand? So that thing is a trigger. Do you understand? Even though there is a ground, but that alone does not result to conflict until, or does not result to fire until a lighter fire is lighted on the area, and then it catch fire. Do you understand? So that's why it is. So I don't know whether you're understanding me. So I don't know whether you are understanding me. Are you following? So that's why it is. All right, just keep it like that. Just keep the light. It's all right. So this is what we're talking about here. So let's look at another. So let's look at it now. Now let's look at what the trigger causes are. All right. Let's look at what the trigger causes are. Now trigger causes are short-term events or action that ignite or escalate conflict in a tense environment already shaped by root causes. The trigger causes are short-term events or actions that ignite or escalate conflict in a tense environment already shaped by root causes. Do you understand? Now, the trigger causes are actually immediate actions. They are just They are just a kind of a sudden event, or a short kind of event that occurs, and then it leads towards it leads to conflict. It triggers conflict because already there is a basis, there is a fertile ground, and you just need something a little bit for it to germinate. Do you understand? For it to trigger out. Do you understand? So just a little event or a little action can provide and cause conflict. That's what we're talking about here. Now let's look at some example for better understanding when we talk about the trigger causes. For example, now a disputed election result. A disputed election result can trigger political conflict. Already, we talk about the issue of political marginalization. We talk about the issue of political exclusion already. We talk about maybe some electoral manipulation already. Or now, already there are electoral lacuna. Do you understand? For instance, now the issue of the electoral bill that we're talking about here now, this electronic transmission of result now, already it has provided a fertile ground for conflict to occur. Do you understand? Because you cannot make a law and say that if you say, okay, there should be electronic transfer of result, but if the network fail, then the manual. So you cannot make a law like that. Already you make it a faulty law. Do you understand? So already it's provide a basis for disputes to occur. Do you understand? So because once you want to do a manual result, then someone can protest. And because of that protest, it can trigger conflict. Do you understand? So that's why it is. Because the law itself has provided a room for conflict to trigger. Do you understand? Because it's possible that there can be a disputed result, and that disputed result can lead to what? Conflict to occur. Do you understand? This is what we're saying. So that law is not correct. What the Senate would have done is to make it mandatory. To make it mandatory that INEC must ensure that election results are electronically transferred. Do you understand? It's mandatory. Do you understand? So it's not left for INEC. You have a budget of 1 trillion for election, 2027 election, a budget of 1 trillion to organize election. So what will stop you to making sure that you have the necessary network? You can deploy Starlink to wherever you are to send your results. Do you understand? So there's no need. And in fact, let me tell you that once the result is being sent, even where there's no network, once you get to a network area, the results can drop. Do you understand? So I don't see any reason why we cannot do electronic transfer of results. And it's what stop you from mandating the Ministry of Communication to make sure that all telecom companies in Nigeria provide the necessary and available network to all the locations in Nigeria. It's possible. Do you understand? It's possible. So now, but they say no. Let there be that room. So they have created that room intentionally for manipulation. And so in the course of manipulation, there can be dispute, and that dispute can lead to what? Conflict, because there is a law that gives room for such to happen. So the law is a root cause. Do you understand? The law is a structural cause. Then the disputed result is what? Is the trigger cause. And that can cause conflict. I don't know whether you're understanding me. So that's what that means. Now let's look at another example. A provocative speech by a political or religious leader. A provocative speech by a political or religious leader can cause conflict. Now look at it. A provocative speech by a political or religious leader can cause conflict. In an environment like Nigeria, for instance, where we have religious intolerance. You know, religion in Nigeria is a society that is highly religious intolerance. You understand? That's what I have to say. It's a fact. It's a fact. It's a fact. So it's not something that you can dispute. Do you understand? It's a fact. So now the issue here is this. Now we have already there is a tense situation about the issue of religion in Nigeria. You know, there are certain things that make this look so tense. Do you understand? Now, the 2023 election make things so complex in terms of religious and politics in Nigeria. Do you understand? Where you have the president, a Muslim, and then a vice president, a Muslim. Now, and then something is happening. There's a killing that is taking place. And then people now come out to say that, oh, this killing is Christian genocide. This killing is what? A Christian genocide. Now, if someone says this killing is a Christian genocide, you know, that statement can trigger a lot of issues. Do you understand? It is capable of causing conflict. Now, but let's look at it now critically. Now, but the 2023 election has provided a structural cause for such kind of things to happen. Do you understand? Now, when you say, if assuming we have a vice president that is a Christian, for instance, and you say there's a Christian genocide, then someone will likely ask, what is the vice president doing there that the Christians are being killed? But now, if someone lay a claim that there's Christian genocide, it will be difficult to deny. It will be difficult to deny such kind of a thing. Because why? Because there's no protection. It's like there's nobody there to protect the interests of the Christian community in Nigeria. Do you understand? That's what I'm saying. So, for instance, now, what I'm trying to say here is this. You know, Christians have a good number of population in Nigeria. And ideally, and based on how, although it's not a stated law, but it's there in existence that, okay, we have a Muslim president, we have a Christian vice president, and then here we have a Christian president, we have a Muslim vice president. This is intended to make sure that these groups are being represented fairly. Do you understand? It's a natural law, and that is a fair representation. Do you understand? And that is inclusion. That's what we call inclusion. But when people are technically excluded, then and now somebody say there is a Christian genocide, and because there's a killing, and this killing, the killing has a kind of peculiarity. Do you understand? And then someone say there is that thing Christian genocide, then it will be difficult to argue that there's no Christian genocide. Do you understand? Because the structural cause has already been provided. Why were Christians excluded from selecting to be a vice presidential candidate? Why? Do you understand? So people will now begin to ask this kind of questions. So it will be quite difficult to defend. And that's why it has been so quite difficult for even the government to defend. I get in the point now. It's quite difficult for them to defend. Do you understand? So these are the issues. So because a structure was provided, and now there is an action that is triggering something. Do you understand? And now then this kind of claims are coming up. So this is it. So another example is a viral fake news story. All right. A viral fake news story can also trigger, conflict. All right. There was something that happened. I think there was a report that some Northerners were killed in some parts, in southern part of Nigeria, and then there was a reaction quickly in the north. Do you understand? And then along the line, they discovered that that was a fake news. But already it has triggered conflict somewhere else. Do you understand? So this is what it is. So then another example is arrest or killing of a prominent group leader. Do you understand? When a prominent, okay, assuming for instance now, you look for one of the leaders of one of the outspoken leaders of a particular group, and then you kill them, and then okay, let's give an example now. For instance, now the incarceration of Nnamdi Kanu, has that actually stopped agitation? Do you understand? That has not stopped the agitation. Do you understand? It is rather causing more tension. Do you understand? It's rather causing more tension. That's what we're talking about here. The arrest or killing of a prominent group leader can cause conflict. So a critical example is that of Nnamdi Kanu. And then when this guy, this Yoruba guy that was arrested in Benin Republic, what's that his name? Is it Igado, whatever? When he was arrested, you see that even the Yorubas now raise voices. No, you should release him. You should do that and that and that and that. Do you understand? These are the things. So when such kind of things happen, it causes conflict. Do you understand? It causes hysterical. That is already there is a basis. This already, for instance, now the southeastern part of the country has been crumbling for political exclusion. They say they have been excluded. They have been, marginalized. And then somebody came out and was raising voices concerning this matter, and then agitating for, separation, or for disintegration. And now that person is not arrested. So what do you expect? It triggers conflict. It can trigger what? Conflict. It's capable of sending us into a second civil war. It's capable. That event is capable of sending us into the second civil war. Do you understand? If there is no restraint. But you can see a lot has been happening around that. I don't know whether we're making sense here at all. Do you understand? Are we making sense? Are we understanding? Yes, Sunday Igaho. Yes, Igboho. So yes, Sunday Igboho. That is the name. Thank you. When he was arrested, you see, a lot of interest now, came up. Do you understand? Said, no, leave him. Do you understand? Because, but assuming he was killed, what would have happened? Maybe it would have triggered something else. Because by then it was Buhari that was the president. Do you understand? So that is how the situation is. Now you can see the North is crying of what? Political exclusion. The North too. They are crying of what? Political exclusion. Some appointment. They said some, but you can see. So that's it. So these things, and there are high agitations. You understand? Very serious ones. So let's look at it now. Let's look at how dramatically, let's look at this. We're trying to explain using this diagram, right? Now we say that political exclusion, economic inequality, historical grievances, weak institutions. We say these are the root causes of conflict, all right? And then we say the trigger causes of conflict can be what? Can be a disputed electoral result, or can be alleged what election fraud, allegation, hate speech. That reminds me of the past Minister of Information, Lai Mohammed. Hate speech, do you understand? Misinformation or social media can also cause conflict. Somebody just post something on social media claiming what is not true. Before you know it, it causes conflict. And then we talk about religious provocation. All of these are trigger causes of conflict, and they give you the result is what? Conflict, outbreak, or violence. Do you understand? So that's what it is. So that's how this, influence each other. The root causes, influences the trigger causes, and then it gives you conflict. Do you understand? So we must, at all costs, try to deal with conflict from the root cause. Of course, sometimes when conflict occur, don't just look at. Most of the times we deal with the trigger causes, and then we forget to eliminate the root causes. All right. If people protest now, as a result of economic hardship, what we should be looking at is not to send them. There's something they brought about in Nigeria. What do they call it? Cash. What do you call that thing? They say cash waiting. They will go and share for 5,000 to people, and then they say they are reducing poverty. How do you reduce? Is that how to reduce poverty? Is that how to reduce poverty? You people that read economy, yes, we understand the issue. We understand the economic concept of trickle down theory. All right, the resources should be trickled down to the, but that's not the way to do it. You cannot go and share people for 5,000 and then say you trickle down, and then that 5,000 cannot buy 3 kg of gas. Do you understand? That 5,000 cannot buy a bag of rice. So how can that 5,000 benefit the people? It cannot. Yes. Conditional cash transfer. Thank you. That's the name. Conditional cash transfer. How can that what kind of that how can you reduce? Is that the best way to reduce poverty? No. 5,000 is not enough to feed a particular certain family. Do you understand? Most especially some of these are northern states where you have somebody have 4 wives, have how many children, and then you give them 5,000 conditional cash transfer. So it cannot help. You understand? So that's it. So what we need to do is to create job opportunities, create business enabling environment policies, so that people can do businesses and earn, so that people can have available opportunities to trade and earn something. And then if you want to empower people, empower them with real skills and give them enough, make provisions for available loans that can help them to do business. Do you understand? Not this kind of, this 5,000 transfer. How can 5,000 help people to get them out of poverty? For goodness sake, if it's $5,000, I will understand. But 5,000 naira that doesn't, that has so much value. I think you understand what I mean. So let's look at some key concepts here. Elections and political violence. Elections and political violence as a trigger cause of conflict. This is what we're trying to look at now. All right. Elections and political violence as a trigger cause of what? Conflict. Let's look at it. Elections are meant to be peaceful mechanisms for leadership change, but they often act as powerful triggers in fragile societies. Elections are meant to be peaceful mechanisms for leadership change, but they often act as powerful triggers in fragile societies, like in what happened in Uganda, like what happened in Tanzania, like even what happened in even Kenya, what is happening in South Africa, what has happened in Nigeria, and it may likely still going to happen. Do you understand? You understand? What's happening in South Sudan? Elections are characterized by all manner of violence, electoral violence, pre-election violence, during election violence, post-election violence. Do you understand? So they are there. So this is one of the triggers of conflict. But elections generally are meant to be a peaceful way of changing leadership transition. Do you understand? But it is causing more harm than good. All right. Now let's look at it this way. Now, how election trigger conflict? Let's look at how election trigger conflict. Let's look at how election trigger what? Conflict. Number one, perceived or real electoral fraud. Perceived or real electoral what? Fraud. Like what happened in 2023, it was a clear, oh my God. Do you understand? Where the INEC chairman promised, electronic transfer of results. On the day of results, he said the surface, whatever has problem, whatever. And then was enough reason why they would say there will be no electronic transfer of result, and then everything was done. They are doing the same thing. It's the same strategy they want to use in 2027 election. You understand? They are just creating the room available for such to still happen. You understand? So that, and of course, this thing is capable of triggering what? Conflict. Then another one is what? Bias electoral institutions. Bias what? Electoral institution, where they elect one. I told you that an INEC chairman that is being appointed by a government in power that is still contesting for a particular election, that INEC chairman cannot be 100% independent. And that electoral body cannot be 100% independent. But that means that the electoral body or institution appoint its own leaders, then we can say to some extent that it can have its own voice. Do you understand? So, biased electoral institution are already staring us in the faces. We are looking and we are looking. We are looking already. We are looking. Do you understand? We are looking, and the more we look, the less we see. Do you understand? The more we look, the less we are seeing. And the possibility of creating a free, fair election is just but by the lip services. We are not seeing tangible effort to correspond with what they are saying. They are promising us free, credible, and fair election, but what are the actions that are correlating with what they are promising? There's nothing corroborating that, because if the INEC chairman that is being appointed by the APC government is saying that they are going to organize a credible and free election, but the APC-dominated National Assembly is creating a lacuna that will cause an electoral fraud, then what is that? What do you come of that? I think by now, INEC chairman would have come out to say the National Assembly should not worry. They should give us a full backing to transfer election electronically and leave it for us. We will put in a mechanism to make sure that we we transfer election electronically. Do you understand? INEC body should have written to the National Assembly and said that we have the capacity and we are capable of organizing an election that is that is of the 21st century, that we can transfer results wherever it's needed. Do you understand? INEC should have written that, but you know what? They cannot do it because they are not free. Do you understand? So already biased institutions are there. I don't know that you understand what I'm trying to say. Am I making sense? If I'm making sense, you should let me know. But if I'm touching you, some of you are politicians, some of you are even APC members. You understand? So if I touch your sensibilities, don't worry, we are in a class. When we finish, we discuss friendship outside. Do you understand? But here I have to tell you the hard truth. Let's go with it first. All right? Do you understand? This in conflict resolution, we must tell ourselves the truth. Do you understand? It's the truth. You cannot resolve conflict on lies. No, on fake pretense. You have to state the facts the way they are, so that it can give you a clear picture of what you can do to deal with that conflict. I get a point now. That's what it is. So, but all the politicians in the house, apologies. I apologize if I really offend you. All right, because I know some of you, the system is being provided like that. It's going to favor you. So the way it is, you like it to be like that. No problem. No problem. No problem. No problem. No problem. You understand? So you want it to remain like that because somehow maybe it will favor you. So, all right. Another one is incendiary campaign rhetorics. You understand? Incendiary campaign. That's campaign rhetorics that people, there are certain things that people will go and say that, can cause conflict. So that's it. So there's some campaign rhetorics that, sometimes people talk and then make some inflammatory statement. You understand? Inflammatory statement that can cause conflict. Use of thugs or militias by political actors. Use of what? Thugs or militias by political actors. Some people are now, in some state now, people are saying, if there is no this governor, there will be no state, that state. How can you arrive at that? Because of thugs. They mobilize young people and then they arm them. And then those young people are singing and say that if there's no this governor, there's no this state. How? How can you now arrive at saying no Wike, no River State, no Wike, no River State, no Wike, no River State? How? River State existed before Wike and it will continue to exist after him. So why will you say no Wike, no River State? Eh? How? But these are people, young people that are supposed to be engaged somewhere to be productive and better the welfare of the society. They are singing on the streets saying no Wike, no River State, no area, no Benue, no this one, no that. No, this state existed before them and it will exist after them. Leadership is what? Transient. They will finish their own and leave. Whether they manipulate their way back in and whatever, but there is a time that the game will be over. Do you understand? And you must leave the stage, definitely. Whether you want to leave it, whether you leave it alive or leave it dead, but you somehow at some point you will leave it. You will leave that stage. And when you come to this reality, those people that are in power don't always come to this reality. Do you understand? They feel that they continue to be there and continue to be there. So use of thugs or militia by political actors. So nobody should give you money to go and cause trouble for them. Do you understand? If they want to cause trouble, let them go and give their children money. So you are doing this training because you can go out there with the knowledge you have here, organize community awareness for the 2027 election. Tell young people nobody should use you, give you money. But you know what? The problem is that there is already a fertile ground created. High level poverty, chronic poverty is on the ground. So even if you go and say, don't go and collect money to be a talk for politicians, they'll still go and collect the money because they are hungry. Do you understand? So 50,000 is enough to cause havoc for young people to even call. They can do whatever. Do you understand? That is it too. So post-election violence are good example of these issues. Let's look at another concept. Another concept is identity and religion. This one is another fire. For us in Nigeria, is another fire. I don't know about you but even in South Sudan is another fire. As soon as the South Sudanese got their independence, the issue of identity become a problem. Who should be the president? The tribes in South Sudan began to fight among themselves. Do you understand? Because they want some, who should be the president, who should be the vice president, how to even share the job becomes a problem. That's why we have South Sudanese conflict that is ongoing there. Do you understand? Stephen, you are here. Am I lying? You are from South Sudan. Any South Sudanese here, you can attest to what I'm saying. Do you understand? The issue of identity is also causing conflict, even in Cameroon. Those of you in Cameroon, you have we have the agrophones, and then you have, I don't know whether the francophones, the agrophones communities, you have the francophones communities in Cameroon, and it's causing conflict. There are some places in Cameroon that if you are coming from the south, going to the north, you must be careful. There are certain things, even somebody told me that if you are driving a car that carries a plate number of the southern part, maybe when you are going to the north, you have to change that plate number for you to even drive successfully to the north. Do you understand? Identity, and religion. So identity-based differences, that is ethnicity, religion, language, become dangerous when politicized. Do you understand? That is identity-based differences like ethnicity, religion, language become dangerous when politicized. And politicians like to use these instruments. They are tools of propaganda. They use them and as they make use of them, they weaponize them in their political activities to get results. So far as they win their election and remains in power, nothing concerns them. They use religion. That is why the APC came up with the concept of a Muslim ticket. They weaponize it, religion, to win election. They call it, they say it is a strategy to win election. APC say it is a strategy to win election. They use religion as a tool to win election. That's why we have a Muslim ticket in Nigeria. It has never happened. This is the first time. They are using it in other states as well. Do you understand? So identity, religion, language can become a problem. It's a trigger conflict. The key issues is us versus them narratives. We are Ariwa, we are the Oduduwas, we are the Igbos, we are this, we are that, we are the middle bit, we are that. Do you understand? All manner of divisions on the basis of what? Identity. religious identity, tribal identity, language identities. So you can imagine a multinational, multilingual, multicultural society like Nigeria. These things, the politicians politicize these issues and make it so terrible that ordinary, let's say ordinary, if governance system in Nigeria is good, who cares whether the president is a Muslim or a vice president is a Muslim, president is a Muslim? Who cares? Who should have cared? Would have cared less if there's religious tolerance in Nigeria. Do you understand? Nobody should have cared. Do you understand? Nobody. Whether it's a Christian ticket, nobody would have cared. Because they know that whatever is meant for a particular group of people, they will get it. Whatever allocation is meant for a particular group of people, they get it. But no. But let me ask now, even now that as a Muslim ticket, is the problem solved? Has that bettered anybody's life? So you can see how politicians use this thing to remain in power. Do you understand? These are the issue. It has never bettered our society in any way. So it's a political, they use it as a political strategy to win election. Do you understand now? So now religious intolerance can also be a problem. And then politicization of ethnic identity. So we say that a particular region cannot vote in election, or a particular region cannot be a president. Why should we allow anybody in Nigeria that has the credential and qualify to be a president should be elected? It doesn't matter where you come from. Do you understand? Look at that guy in Uganda. Look at what the guy went through because he was contesting for election with a political hegemony that has been there for several years and don't want to give way. What about the person in Cameroon? Do you understand? So that is it. So a minor religious disagreement can cause conflict, can cause violence. Do you understand? A minor religious disagreement, it has happened in several. It has happened in Kano, it happens in Kaduna, it has happened in Nigeria as a whole, it has happened. Do you understand? When coup that happened in 1960 was regarded as a tribal and a religious matter. And that's why it has caused a lot of hatred in the system. A coup that happened, we would have considered it that way it's military misunderstanding and it's normal, but it was tribalized. It was religious, religiously inclined. Do you understand? It was religiously, categorized and classified. But we understand that in the military system, coup does take place. So if coup happen, why should we classify it in such a way that it's a religious cleansing or it's a tribal cleansing? Do you understand? It shouldn't be. So what will you say of those counter coups? Do you understand? I don't know whether you are. I don't know whether we are making sense here at all. We are making sense. You understand? We are making sense. Let's look at the media. Let's look at the media. Media and misinformation. Media and misinformation. Media can either promote peace or act as a conflict accelerator. Media can either promote what? peace will act as a conflict accelerator. The media can, the media is good for peace promotion, and it's also bad for conflict, you know, acceleration. Do you understand? It has, it's a double-edged sword. It's good, it's bad, but all in all, it depends on how you use it. If we use it as a good instrument to promote peace, it will promote peace. But if we use it to propagate conflict, conflict can be propagated. Some people are just formulating all manner of lies on. When the issue of genocide came, all manner of talks and all manner of concepts, all manner of media propagandas have been going on, and all of that, all manner of stories from every angle coming up. You understand? So many things, and the media is being used, social media and other medias. Why social media is an instrument that can promote peace, it can cause much more problem. Both social media and even the mainstream media. The mainstream media. If you see institutions like the CNN, the BBC, we believe that they were established to protect and advance the cause of the West. And when you look at channels, media houses like Al Jazeera, they have been established to promote the Arab cultures. Do you understand? That's what it is. So it can be a problem. It can be an instrument to promote peace. So how negative media play its roles. Let's look at the negative media roles. Spreading fake news, sensational reporting. That is, there's a way they report certain news. When they report the news, you yourself, if you hear it, you want to kill somebody there. Do you understand? The way the news is being positioned, is being reported. If you hear it, you would like to kill somebody. If you catch somebody, you would like to kill the person, because of the way the news is being reported. That is, you are not there, but the thing is choking you. Like you want to. That's why sometimes something will happen in another country based on the way it's being reported. In Nigeria here, you see reactions. The way it's being reported in Nigeria here, you see reactions. But that thing that happened did not happen in Nigeria, but the way it was reported causes a reaction in Nigeria and in other places. Are you getting the point now? That's how bad the media is. Hate speech and propaganda are the negative roles of the media. Let's look at the positive roles of the media. Peace messaging. You can use it to promote peace. I'm using social media here to empower people with skills to resolve conflict. That I'm doing something good with social media. You understand? I'm not here to encourage anybody to go and fight a religious war. I'm not here to encourage anybody to go and fight any political war. I'm not here to encourage anybody to go and be a corrupt politician. I'm not here to go and encourage anybody to go and fight tribal wars. But I'm here to encourage us to see to it that if we have opportunity, all right, and we are in a position to do anything, have it in mind that you are representing different interests and you must carry everyone along. Do you understand? If it happens to be an INEC chairman tomorrow, make sure that everybody who stands for election is a Nigerian, and it doesn't matter where he comes from. Do you understand? It doesn't matter whether he has money to give you or not. Some of you here, after this training, you will serve as returning officers. You will serve as presiding officers. You will serve as observers in electoral elections. Please report genuine and the facts of what you have witnessed. Right? If the result is 70, announce 70. Don't add anything. Don't change anything, even if you are giving money. Right? This is what we're here, and this is what we're talking. And some of you here, after this training, you go and organize community awareness campaign to educate people for a better society. This is what we want to see. You understand? That's what we're using the media to do. We are not using media to incite people for violence. Do you understand? So, a false social media post alleging the arrest or the killing of somebody can lead to what? Repressive violence, and then it can cause conflict. So that's what we're talking about. Let's look at another one. Political rhetoric and what? Hate speech. Statements by influential leaders can rapidly inflame what? Tensions. Right? So politicians are making some very nasty statement. Snatch it, run with it, do with that. So how, if you say people should snatch it, run with it, then what are you saying? You're encouraging violence in election. Don't tell anybody to snatch it and run with it. I think some of you understand what I'm talking about. Do you understand? When people says, don't anybody that is from a particular region on the day of election, don't come out to vote. If we see you there, we are going to. What kind of talk is that? We have the right to vote where and be voted for. Do you understand? And at least if you cannot contest for election in a particular place, but you can vote in that place if you have a voter's card. So why should you say somebody should not come out and vote simply because it's from another place? You see, so these are the issues. So let's look at it. Another one is what? Security force action. Security forces action or security force actions. Heavy-handed or biased response by security agencies may trigger violence. Some of you are prisoners in the military. Some of you are prisoners in the police. As I'm talking to you here now, some of you in this class are security officers, security prisoners. Please, if they send you on assignment, calm down. All right? I understand that you have to respect the last order. All right? But know that you yourself, whatever that these people are protesting against here, is in one way or the other affecting you. You understand? If people are protesting about bad governance and they send you to go and stop them as a security officer and you went, please, if you cannot say you will not go, at least go and just watch and advise them that are protesting, don't destroy any property, okay? This property is meant for all of us. Don't destroy it. You are free to protest. We are not stopping you, but protest orderly. We will not harm you, right? Because we know that you are also helping us, because we too are suffering what you are suffering. How can I be a police officer and I'm collecting a meager salary that cannot even serve my family? I'm not paying my child school fees. I don't have accommodation. Even the barracks, the roof, the houses in the barracks, if you sleep inside, rain will be sleeping with you. Rain will beat you. There is one barracks that I knew of. That barracks room discouraged me from being a police officer. Do you understand? I cannot be a police officer and stay in that kind of barracks. Do you understand? So police welfare is not cut out for, but they are the ones that are facing all the dangers. And then now people are protesting, and then now they still send you that your welfare has not been taken care of. Now to go and pay or to go and disperse those people, and then you go there, and then you say, "We'll deal with you. Leave this place." What kind of a thing is that? It's not good. We want positive change. So far as they are not destructive, allow them to protest. Sometimes it's the action of the security forces that cause the people to react in a negative way. They are protesting genuinely, but once they see the presence of security personnel, they become agitated. They become, because the way you come heavily armed. Assuming you come with sticks and baton, people will still be comfortable to be doing their own thing. But you come heavily armed. What do you expect them to do? They will know that you come for war, so they are ready to give you war. You understand? So security forces, your actions sometimes can trigger conflict. Then another one is economic shocks. Sudden fuel price hikes or removal of subsidies can spark protests that turn violent. You understand? You know, Nigerians are the most, I don't know, I can say that Nigeria are the most peaceful. Should I say the most peaceful? You know, we are graceful, but to some extent we are peaceful. We are the most enduring, let me not say peaceful, the most enduring people, because we lack peace in Nigeria. But we are the most enduring people. That's we can endure whatever. When our president on the day of his inauguration says subsidy is gone, nobody say it, we began to adjust ourselves quickly with the new fuel price. And then the filling stations and the fuel stations, they adjusted price quickly, even though they did not buy the fuel, they were adjusting price at the cost, but they adjusted it quickly. Do you understand? And nobody protested. Nobody said a thing. Believing that, yes, fuel subsidy is going to be removed so that it will better our lives, because in past administration, we protested that fuel subsidy should be removed so that more money will be generated, and of course, it will better Nigerians. Now, how far Nigerians? Fuel subsidy has been removed. How far is our life being bettered? Is our life better now? So another one is youth mobilization. Youths are not economically empowered. So anything available, they are ready to do. Even if it means to do the bad one, they will do it so far as they are being paid. We parents should watch over our children. All right. Most of you here are married people with family. Watch over your children. Know where your child is going. None of your child should go and be protesting and join a group to do anything, to go and snatch ballot box for anybody. You understand? Warn them. Nobody should come and mobilize you. And you too, if you are contesting for election, don't go and mobilize the youth to come and cause. But you know what? Some of these people, you don't need to mobilize them. Once you are a politician, they know that you come with money. So they'll just be following you. They'll just be following you. They'll even do things that you didn't ask them to do. I'm telling you to just to impress you so that you give them money. That's it. Because I think I'm in that issue. That's what I'm saying. But some of them do just before you don't give them order, but they will do that which they think it will please you to give them more money. Practical focus, early warning indicators. Early warning indicators are observable signs that suggest a high risk of what? Conflict escalation. So what do you do? Common early warning indicators. Let's look at them. Increase hate speech in public discourse. Nobody is discussing peace. Everybody's just talking against each other. Look at what's happening in our system now, in our policy now. Just everyone's talking against each other, talking against each other, talking against this one, accuse this one, counter accusation, accusation upon counter accusation. You understand? So what do you expect? Rise in political propaganda and misinformation. Yes. We are even turning the democracy into a one-party state. It's becoming a very serious matter. Unusual movement or mobilization of arms groups. Do you understand? Unusual movement and mobilization of arms groups. What is happening in our system now? Heightened ethnic religious tension. What is happening in our system now? Do you understand? These are early indicators. Early warning indicators. These are early warning indicators. Right? We need to do something. That's why people were protesting against that electoral bill or whatever amendment. But still declining what trust in the state institutions. So now, for us now in Nigeria now, we lose interest in the INEC already. We lose interest in the National Assembly already. You understand? We don't trust them anymore. That even if what they are doing is genuinely, there's that genuine concern with network issues in Nigeria, because these are telecom companies in Nigeria. I must say they are funny. I can tell you, they're funny sometimes. Network will just disappear from your phone without any, just disappear like that. So this may be done out of a genuine concern for the nature of network we used to have in our country. But the truth of the matter is that, in as much as that it may be, because we don't trust them anymore, so for us is a manipulation they're trying to create. They are creating a venue for what? Manipulation. That is just it. Because of lack of trust. Do you understand in the system? So let's look at simple early warning flow diagram. All right, early warning signs: hate speech, fake news, political tension, risk assessment, and then what? Peace campaign or security reforms can help to solve the problem. So let's look at the summary of this unit 2, because we have come to the end of the lesson. Let's look at the key takeaways for this module, this unit rather. Root causes create what? Fertile grounds for conflict, while trigger causes ignite it. Root causes create what? Fertile ground for conflict, while trigger causes ignite it. Elections, identity, religion, and media are among the most common conflict triggers. Misinformation and hate speech significantly accelerate conflict dynamics. Early warning indicators help practitioners anticipate and prevent violence. So now we understood. Now we know. It's left for you now to go and do something to prevent conflict from occurring. So this training that you are doing now, go and use the knowledge you acquire to help to better our society. Like I said, if you want to be a licensed member, you can be a licensed member. That can give you better grounds to carry out peace work and activities. Do you understand? With a licensed member, you can intervene, you can mediate, you can, do a lot of things. But if you're not a licensed member, there's a limit to what you can do. Do you understand? So with even this certificate that we're giving you, if you're not a licensed member, there's a limit to what you can do, right? So if you want to be a licensed member of the Institute, I'm going to send my WhatsApp number now in the chat, in the comment section. You can reach me through that WhatsApp. through that WhatsApp, and then we will guide you on how you can become a member of the institute so that you can contribute better in our society. This is our WhatsApp line, so you can reach out to us, and then you know we'll help you on how you can become a member of the institute. So thank you very much. I appreciate all of you for taking time to always be part of this training. Let me see as many people as I will recognize you, to recognize you and your participation. Mr. Emmanuel Ebizim Marco, thank you. I want to also acknowledge John Kubazupa. Thank you. William Steven, thank you for participating. Omotayo Kamal, thank you. Ambassador Wande Amos, thank you for participating. Ambassador Cecilia Fajobi, thank you. Jonas Tari, France, thank you. And then I would like to also thank Chinet Golden Pen, thank you. Mohammed and Sadauki, thank you. Solomon Job, thank you. Esther, thank you. Hannah, thank you. Feminine what? Emmanuel, thank you. Frederick, thank you. Amechi, thank you. Katanga, thank you. Tijani, Brian, thank you. Adeoku, thank you. Chumuka, my friend, my best friend, thank you all the way from Zambia. Kingsley Agundo, thank you. Siwale, thank you. Susan Adaji, thank you. Godia Ibrahim, Mrs. Moses, thank you. Aishat Yakubu, thank you. Thank you for being part of today's training. We wish you a wonderful night rest. Tomorrow, we will not be having our training tomorrow. All right? Tomorrow, we'll not be having our training tomorrow, but we'll have it on Thursday. So I will have it on Friday going forward. But Wednesdays, we'll not be having the training. We're not having the training on Wednesdays. All right? So take note of that. We'll not be having the training on Wednesdays. So, but we'll be having it on Thursday. All right? So take note of that. Tomorrow, take time to revisit what we have covered so far. Go through and watch some of those videos that we have covered so far. So it will help you to refresh your memory on what we have covered so far. Thank you, and God bless you. Have a wonderful night rest.